A. Keywords. Characteristics, only, food production. Explanation. We have to find paragraphs which contain information about food production. We can see this phrase, food production, in paragraph A and paragraph E. In paragraph E, food production is just mentioned as an example of the benefits of public welfare programs, while in paragraph A, we can see the first sentence, two things distinguish food production from all other productive activities. First, every single person needs food each day and has a right to it, and second, it is hugely dependent on nature. The verb distinguish means to make one thing seem different from another. Therefore, we can understand that these two things mentioned above only belong to food production. All of this information lies in paragraph A. B. Keywords. Challenges, only, farmers in certain parts. Explanation. Paragraph B mentions difficulties farmers have to face. The first sentence is about problems met in everywhere in the world. The second sentence is about challenges that only farmers in developing countries have to deal with. However, smallholder farmers in developing countries must in addition deal with adverse environments, both natural, in terms of soil quality, rainfall, etc., and human, in terms of infrastructure, financial systems, markets, knowledge and technology. The term developing countries refers to certain parts of the world. Therefore, the answer is B. H. Keywords. Difficulties, cooperation between farmers. Explanation. In terms of cooperation, the author mentions some kinds of cooperative groups of farmers, such as collective action groups, cooperatives, or producers groups in the second sentence of paragraph H. Collective actions mean actions shared by every member of a group of people, which refers to cooperation between people in a group. He/she not only names the groups, but also claims that those actions do not come as a free good. It takes time, effort, and money to organize, build trust, and to experiment. Those are considered as difficulties in taking collective actions. Therefore, the answer is H. Note: matching headings questions do not follow the order of the text. D. Keywords. Financial assistance from the government. Explanation. This is a difficult question since you have to know that state subsidies refers to financial assistance from the government. And this phrase lies in paragraph E. In this paragraph, the author mentions Rokhaya Kabir as she claims that these state subsidies have not compensated for the stranglehold exercised by private traders. To make it more clear, the author writes, 60% of beneficiaries of subsidies are not poor, but rich landowners and non-farmer traders. When the subsidies go to some people, those people are called beneficiaries. And the writer claims some are non-farmers. Therefore, this information is matched with Rokaya Kabir. Paraphrased words. State subsidies, financial assistance from the government. B. Keywords. Benefit, collaborate, as a group. Explanation. Collaborate means to work with someone else for a special purpose, which refers to collective actions of farmers. Therefore, we have to pay attention to paragraph H, which contains that information, as we already know when doing question 3. In the first sentence of this paragraph, the writer says that according to Murphy, collective action offers an important way for farmers to strengthen their political and economic bargaining power. Strengthen their political and economic bargaining power is a way of benefiting. Therefore, the answer is Murphy, B. Paraphrased words. Collective actions, collaborate as a group. C. Keywords. Financial assistance from the government, standard of living, farmers. Explanation. This question is about the same issue as question 4, so we turn back to paragraph E. The first sentence of this paragraph mentions Shenjfan, who considers safety nets and public welfare programs as valuable ways to address poverty among farming families and reduce their vulnerability to agriculture shocks. Public welfare programs are programs that provide financial assistance. Address poverty means to improve the standard of living. Therefore, the answer is C. G. Keywords. Financial input, same individuals, buy. Explanation. In paragraph I, we find a reference to, one commentator suggested farmers can gain greater control over prices and minimize price volatility by selling directly to consumers. This commentator is named as Sonali Bisht. Her experience is of India, where consumers invest in local farmers by subscription and guarantee producers a fair price. Selling directly to consumers means that the same individuals who buy from the farmers also pay the farmers. Therefore, the answer is G. B. Keywords. Governments, reduce, variation in prices. Explanation. In paragraph D, the author mentions the role of governments. While Kanayo F. Mon suggests governments can provide basic services, Sophia Murphy thinks that governments can help mitigate wild swings in food prices. Mitigate is the same meaning as reduce the effect of something, and wild swings in prices refers to a variation in prices. Therefore, the answer is Sophia Murphy, B. Paraphrased words: mitigate, reduce. Wild swings, variation. A. Keywords: improvements to infrastructure, major impact, risk for farmers. Explanation: regarding infrastructure and risks, we saw these issues in paragraph D when doing question 8. Basic services like roads refers to infrastructure. Kanayo F. Nwans argues that by improving those services, they can significantly reduce risks for farmers, which means this way has a major impact on risk for farmers. Paraphrased words: basic services, infrastructure. Significantly, major. D and E. Keywords: problems affect farmers with small farms, developing countries. Explanation: in the first sentence of paragraph G, the author mentions climate change and its consequences for small-scale agriculture. Small-scale agriculture refers to farmers with small farms. We can detect the first problem, climate change and its consequences, which are the effects of changing weather patterns, D. Next, lack of demand for locally produced food and lack of irrigation programs are not mentioned in the whole passage. Insurance is mentioned once in paragraph F, but in terms of private insurance as a way to help small-scale producers mitigate risk. There is no information relating to being unable to get insurance. In paragraph I, the author mentions the presence of intermediary purchasers. Purchasers refers to buyers. Those people, taking advantage of farmers' vulnerability, dictate prices. Because farmers have to sell their goods to these intermediary buyers, these buyers dictate prices. Therefore, the answer is D and E. Paraphrased words: small-scale agriculture, farmers with small farms. Purchasers, buyers. C and D. Keywords: recommend, improving, conditions for farmers. Explanation: answer A mentions the size of food stocks, but in the passage, the author only mentions the availability of adequate stocks, the fourth sentence of paragraph F. Reducing the size of food stocks is not mentioned. In terms of price control, the author suggests some solutions such as by alleviating uncertainties about market supply, paragraph D, greater transparency in markets, paragraph F, selling directly to consumers, paragraph I, and synchronize buying and selling with seasonal price conditions. Paragraph H. This method is to synchronize prices in certain times, seasonal, not to raise prices. Therefore, B is not the answer. Additionally, making customers aware of the reasons for changing food prices is not mentioned either. Hence, E is not the answer. In paragraph H, the author suggests all stakeholders, including business, government, scientists, and civil society, must work together, starting at the beginning of the value chain. Work together means cooperation, and all stakeholders, including business, government, scientists, and civil society, refers to a wide range of interested parties. Hence, the first action which is recommended is C, organizing cooperation between a wide range of interested parties. One of the answers is C. The only remaining answer is D. We can use exclusive method to know that this is the answer. When answering question 7, we found a reference to community-based agriculture, where consumers invest in local farmers by subscription and guarantee producers a fair price, is a risk-sharing model worth more attention. In this model, consumers and farmers share the risks. This confirms that the correct answer is D. Paraphrased words: work together, cooperation. Stakeholders, interested parties. Four. Explanation. The first paragraph is used to introduce Bingham's trip, his goal and his plan when making the trip. The second sentence is, his goal was to locate the remains of a city called Vitkos, the last capital of the Inca civilization. Goal is the same as aim. We can see the heading, 4, the aim of the course, is the most relevant to this paragraph's content. If you are not sure enough, take note and do following questions before deciding what is the answer. Paraphrased words: goal, aim. Six. Explanation. Paragraph B is quite short, so you should read it thoroughly to find the correct answer. This paragraph is about the advantage of Bingham and his team over other travelers. A track had recently been blasted down the valley canyon to enable rubber to be brought up by mules from the jungle. A track means a path, route or rough road, and recently means not long ago, during the period of time that has just passed. Therefore, we can consider this advantage as a new route. Paraphrased words: track, route. Recently, new. Eight. Explanation. This paragraph describes some negative things during the trek. Bingham's team showed no interest in continuing this trek, and Bingham himself claimed in his book he made the ascent without having the least expectation that he would find anything at the top. We can see that Bingham and his companions were lacking expectation and were less than keen on going up the hill to look at the ruins mentioned by the local farmer. Therefore, the answer is 8, Bingham's lack of enthusiasm. Other headings do not mention something negative. Paraphrased words. Less than keen on, lack of enthusiasm. Five. Explanation. In this paragraph, the author mentioned what Bingham described in his book, From the Ever-Present Possibility of Deadly Snakes to the Grand Ceremonial Buildings of Machu Picchu. This paragraph does not mention anything related to different accounts. Heading 1. Support. Heading 2. Belief. Heading 3. Or Bingham's theory. Heading 7. What remains is heading 5, a dramatic description, and this heading is really relevant to this paragraph's content. Paraphrased words. Vivid, dramatic. One. Explanation. This paragraph shows that Bingham's journal reveals a much more gradual appreciation of his achievement compared with his book. He spent the afternoon at the ruins noting down the dimensions of some of the buildings, then descended and rejoined his companions, to whom he seems to have said little about his discovery. At this stage, didn't realize the extent or the importance of the site, nor did he realize what use he could make of the discovery. However, in his book, Bingham makes the discovery of the lost city of the Incas appear much more dramatic than it seemed at the time. The most appropriate heading for this paragraph is Different Accounts of the Same Journey. 1. Seven. Explanation. There are only 3 headings which remain: Bingham gained support, a common belief, and Bingham publishes his theory. We just need to pay attention to these keywords, support, belief, and theory, to find the correct answer to the remaining 2 questions. In paragraph F, the author mentions the belief of Bingham. However, it is Bingham's own belief and is inaccurate. It is not a common belief. Heading 3 is not the answer. This paragraph is about Bingham's big idea. He knew he had to produce a big idea. In this context, we can consider his idea as his theory, which he explained in an article which he wrote for publication in a magazine. So, the answer is 7. Bingham publishes his theory. Paraphrased words. A big idea, theory. Three. Explanation. The third sentence of this paragraph mentions an idea which has gained wide acceptance over the past few years. The expression, "it gained wide acceptance," means it is accepted, believed by many people. We can consider it as a common belief. It is also can be considered in terms of gained support. However, this idea does not belong to Bingham. Therefore, the heading Bingham gained support is inaccurate. So, the answer has to be 3, a common belief. Paraphrased words. Wide acceptance, common belief. True. Explanation. Thomas Getz. Getz is mentioned in both paragraph B and paragraph E. We already know, from question 15, that paragraph B is about the classification of types of boredom by Getz and his team. This matches B. In the list of ideas, of the 5 types, the most damaging is reactant boredom with its explosive combination of high arousal and negative emotion. So, reactant boredom is the worst of all 5 types of boredom, because it is the most damaging. Paraphrased words. Sort, type. False. Keywords. A particular route down the Urubamba Valley, most common. Explanation. When doing question 15, we already know Bingham used a new route which other travelers had not used. In case you do true, false questions, first, you can find the answer's location according to the keywords. In the second part of paragraph A, the author mentions the route down the Urubamba Valley. However, from paragraph B, we know Bingham did not follow that route. He found a new route. They had an advantage over travelers who had preceded them. A track had recently been blasted down the valley canyon to enable rubber to be brought up by mules. Therefore, the answer is false. False. Keywords. Significance of Machu Picchu, as soon as he saw it. Explanation. In paragraph E, the author claimed, at this stage, didn't realize the extent or the importance of the site, nor did he realize what use he could make of the discovery. The site referred to is the lost city, Machu Picchu, and the importance means significance. According to this sentence, at that time Bing didn't realize those things. Paraphrased words. Significance, importance. Not given. Keywords. Return, evidence, support his theory. Explanation. The paragraph about Bingham's theory is paragraph F. The second sentence, he knew he had to produce a big idea. In the second part of this paragraph, the author claims his theory is wrong, but she does not mention what Bingham did after that. Therefore, the answer is not given. Rubber. Keywords. Track, Bingham, Urubamba Valley, created, transportation. Explanation. This route is mentioned in many other questions, so we easily find its location, which is in paragraphs A and B. In paragraph B, the author writes, a track had recently been blasted down the valley canyon to enable rubber to be brought up by mules from the jungle. This can be understood as, for the transportation of rubber. Farmer. Keywords. Ruins of Machu Picchu, from Urubamba Valley. Explanation. The ruins of Machu Picchu is mentioned in paragraph C. His companion showed no interest in accompanying him up the nearby hill to see some ruins that a local farmer, Melchor Arteaga, had told them about the night before. It is when they reached the valley. Therefore, it is a local farmer in the Urubamba Valley who told them about some ruins of Machu Picchu. Eye movements. Keywords. Observe, Russian-English bilingual people, select, objects. Explanation. In the reading test, it's easier to find names of people and places than most other information. Therefore, we should start by finding location of information about Russian-English bilingual people. This information lies in paragraph B. In an example of studying of eye movements, a Russian-English bilingual was asked to pick up a marker from a set of objects. Studying refers to observing, and pick up means to select. Therefore, the words to fill in the blank are eye movements. Paraphrased words. Study, observe. Pick up, select. Language co-activation. Keywords. Bilingual people, simultaneously, mechanism. Explanation. In paragraph B, the key sentence is, research shows that when a bilingual person uses one language, the other is active at the same time. There is also a word which can be considered the same meaning as a mechanism, it is activation. For bilingual people, this activation is not limited to a single language. Auditory input activates corresponding words regardless of the language to which they belong. Some of the most compelling evidence for this phenomenon, called a language co-activation, comes from studying eye movements. Not limited to a single language means engage both languages, and called is the same as known as. Therefore, this activation mechanism is known as a language co-activation. Paraphrased words. At the same time, simultaneously. Activation mechanism. Stroop task. Keywords. A test, naming colors. Explanation. In paragraph C, the author mentioned tasks and took an example of a classic task in which people see a word and are asked to name the color of the word's font. It is called Stroop task. Therefore, Stroop task is the answer. Paraphrased words. Task, test. Conflict management. Keywords. Bilingual people, more able to handle, skill. Explanation. Since the questions are in the table with two columns, test and findings, so questions in the same row will be closely related to each other. Therefore, their answers are definitely somewhere near the other, and we still pay attention to paragraph C. In this case, the author mentioned the findings of in the previous sentence. Bilingual people often perform better on tasks that require conflict management. Perform better on tasks has the same meaning with, are more able to handle tasks, and require is the same as involving. The skill mentioned here is conflict management. Paraphrased words. Perform better, more able to handle. Cognitive control. Keywords. Switching, changing strategies, superior. Explanation. Paragraph C is about tests and tasks. In the last sentence of this paragraph, the author mentioned switching between two tasks. We have to pay attention to this sentence. Bilinguals are also better at switching between two tasks. For example, when bilinguals have to switch from categorizing objects by color, red or green, to categorizing them by shape, circle or triangle, they do so more quickly than monolingual people, reflecting better cognitive control when having to make rapid changes of strategy. The expression, make changes of strategy, is the same as changing strategies, and better refers to superior. In the above sentence, the writer claims bilingual people have better cognitive control when changing strategies. Therefore, the answer is cognitive control. Paraphrased words: better, superior. Yes. Keywords: attitudes, bilingualism, changed, recent years. Explanation. In paragraph A, the author mentioned something in the past in the second sentence, and the difference, over the past few decades, in the third sentence, using however as the conjunction. This means there were changes in recent years. Therefore, we can try finding our answer here. The author claimed, technological advances have allowed researchers to look more deeply at how bilingualism interacts with and changes the cognitive and neurological systems, thereby identifying several clear benefits of being bilingual. It means they find being bilingual has its own advantages instead of only disadvantages, as people thought in the past. Therefore, attitudes towards bilingualism have changed. Not given. Keywords: bilingual, monolingual, guess correctly, words, before they are finished. Explanation. When it comes to guessing words before they are finished, we have to pay attention to paragraph B. Long before the word is finished, the brain's language system begins to guess what that word might be. For bilingual people, this activation is not limited to a single language. This is the explanation for the activation called language co-activation. There is no comparison between bilingual and monolingual people in guessing words before they are finished. No. Keywords: bilingual, monolingual, name, images, faster. Explanation. In the second sentence of paragraph C, the author gave an example of the disadvantages of being bilingual. For instance, knowing more than one language can cause speakers to name pictures more slowly. Knowing more than one language means bilingual, and pictures is the same as images. Therefore, bilingual people name images more slowly than monolingual people. No. Keywords: bilingual people's brains process single sounds more efficiently, all situations. Explanation. In paragraph D, the writer mentioned, when monolingual and bilingual adolescents listen to simple speech sounds without any intervening background noise, they show highly similar brainstem responses. Hence, there is at least one situation, when there is no intervening background noise, in which the brain processing of these two kinds of people is highly similar. The above statement is only right in the presence of background noise, not all situations. Therefore, the answer is no. Not given. Keywords: fewer bilingual people suffer brain disease, old age. Explanation: in terms of issues related to age, in paragraph F, the author mentioned brain disease in old age. However, she only mentioned bilingual experience may help to keep the cognitive mechanisms sharp. Older bilinguals enjoy improved memory relative to monolingual people. Bilingual patients reported showing initial symptoms of the disease an average of 5 years later than monolingual patients. The bilinguals' brains had more physical signs of disease than their monolingual. There is no line which contains information about the number of bilingual people and their monolingual counterparts. We only know that the physical signs of disease in bilinguals are greater than monolinguals, but it is clear that both groups suffer from brain disease. Therefore, the answer is not given. D. Keywords. Example: brains respond differently, type of nonverbal auditory input. Explanation: when doing question 35, we already know that information about brain responses is in paragraph D, so we have to pay attention to this paragraph. Simple sound can be considered as a certain type of non-verbal auditory input, when researchers play the same sound to both groups in the presence of background noise. However, the bilingual listener's neural response is considerably larger, reflecting better encoding of the sound's fundamental frequency, a feature of sound closely related to pitch perception. Therefore, the answer is D. G. Keywords. Demonstration: a bilingual upbringing, benefit, before we learn to speak. Explanation: in paragraph G, the author gave an example of one study in which researchers taught 7-month-old babies growing up in monolingual or bilingual homes, then drew the conclusion that for very young children, as well as for older people, navigating a multilingual environment imparts advantages that transfer far beyond language. Advantages is the same as benefits, and 7-month-old is before we learn to speak. Therefore, the answer is G. B. Keywords. Description: process, identify words that they hear. Explanation: in paragraph B, the author explained how we hear words and recognize them. When we hear a word, we don't hear the entire word all at once. The sounds arrive in sequential order. Therefore, the answer is B. Paraphrased words. Word recognition: identify words. C. Keywords. Negative consequences: being bilingual. Explanation: in the first sentence of paragraph C, the writer claimed, having to deal with this persistent linguistic competition can result in difficulties. However, deal with this persistent linguistic competition refers to knowing more than one language, or being bilingual, and difficulties is the same as negative consequences. Therefore, the answer is C. Paraphrased words. Difficulties, negative consequences.